Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening. My name is Kim. I am the Children and Young Adult Consultant with the Connecticut State Library, and I am here to find out about Shelton's Junior Friends group, Junior Friends of the Library group that I think they run with their high school students, which sounds awesome. If we're working for and on behalf of the teens, why not involve them in some of the aspects of library life aside from checking out books and attending programs? So I'm pumped. Tell me about it, please. I'm actually really excited and jealous that I didn't think of this when I was still in libraries.
Nice to see you, Kim. I'm Joan Stokes, and I'm the library director here for the Shelton Library System. I've been doing this for a long time. My first Junior Friends group I started when I was the children's and teen librarian at the Oxford Public Library back in 1996, which makes me feel even older. And what I had there was a very active friends group, and I had a lot of kids who were coming in since the elementary school was right next door. Lots of kids were spending time in the afternoon, and I needed help just getting clerical work done. So I thought, I'm going to form a junior friends group. Started with 4 kids, and they would just cut out crafts for me in the afternoon and sit and chat with me. By the time I left that position 2 years later, I had grown the group to 24 kids. Some of them are still in touch with me from there too, which is lovely. From there, I went to the Southbury Public Library. And since I had had such success at the Oxford Public Library, I thought I've got to start a group here as well. So I did start a group there with a core group of kids. At that time, we were also doing a library building project. And the only way they were going to get anything new in the children's department was for the junior friends to raise the funds to actually outfit the children's and teen department with new furniture, with technology. I had a very active group there that did book talks. They did variety show nights. They did book sales. They did bake sales. They did anything to raise money and ended up raising thousands of dollars. And 15 years later, that furniture is still being used. And what's lovely is that now that 15 years has gone by, those kids have grown. They're still in touch with me. They still invite me to their weddings. They let me know when they've got babies coming along. It's really quite lovely. So when I came to Shelton 6 years ago, I knew that we could use a junior friends group here. So we have a very active youth group here, very active teen department until COVID hit, of course, and that shut us all down. So we did some promoting from within. We started a new teen department here with a new teen librarian. I'm going to turn you over to Joe Cappella, who's our teen tech librarian, and Jessica Prutting, who is the youth services librarian at the Huntington Branch in Shelton. And I'll let them talk about what they're doing here. But that's the background of how we came to this point. Now I'm going to turn it over to the two of them.
Hi.
Hi, folks.
Thank you for having us here. So right now, so I work with the high school. They do require volunteering for all of the high school students. So we do have like a built-in audience for that. And right now, we have maybe like how many kids, like 10 kids or so in the group? Yeah, so we have like 10 kids right now, but we're slowly growing the group. We are trying to be very community focused. So it isn't necessarily just within the library, but it's also with the community. We've done things like coat drives.
So this is the second year really doing this. We kind of had to put everything on hold when everybody was closed. And but like Joe said, the high schoolers all need 10 hours of community service to get through whatever year of high school they're in. So we do have a lot of kids that come to us to ask for hours, and we wanted to make it more of a way to get them to have a relationship with their library, you know, instead of just like come in and shelf books for an hour and then we sign off and then bye, see you later. This way they're coming back. We have a rapport with them. They know what we have to offer. Hopefully word of mouth, they talk to their friends and we get more teens in. But like Joe said, we're trying to make it so that they're thinking about what they can do to serve their community. So in the last 2 years or a year and a half, really, we've done co-drives with, was it my sister?
It was Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Big Brother, Big Sisters. We are right now, this is our second year partnering with the senior center. The director there is lovely. And so last year and this year, we're doing Valentine's cards. So they're just making a bunch of, basic, anybody can take this Valentine's card. And so when the seniors go in on Valentine's Day, they have a nice little treat. We've done pumpkins twice. The last year we let them carve the pumpkins and we put them in different places around town. So we had one at Boys and Girls, we had one at one of the fire departments, the senior center. Did we have one? We did. So, and we're also kind of trying to let the teens guide what the service project is. They are told a lot of their lives, like, this is what you're going to do and this is how it's going to be done. We want to give them, the reins as much as we can. So we meet once a month, we let them brainstorm, and then whatever project they, decide to work on, they have to vote if we have too many ideas. Then it's up to us to do the legwork to, talk to the people in the community, make sure we know where we're putting these pumpkins or things of that nature. And I think that's worked really well. I think they've responded to that.
We find that the kids, when they do create the projects and really try to help us plan it in some way, that when their hands are on it, that they're much more responsive to want to do the community service. So then that way that they kind of take some ownership of it. So it isn't just myself or Jessica doing everything, but they, like I said, she says, they come up with the projects. They actually do help, with some planning as far as certain goals that they want to achieve. And we kind of do a lot of the more gritty stuff, nitty gritty and everything. But it's worked out pretty well, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, we had some return people from last year to this year, which was really great. And some of them are moving on to college next year. So sad that I'm going to miss them. But yeah, this year it's kind of a mix of some of our returning teens and then some newer ones, which is good in a way, get some more people in. But it's also good to see that they want to come back.
Yeah.
I love this. And I think I wonder if all the high schools in Connecticut have synced up on that 10 hours a school year or whatever, 40 hours a year. I remember having a ton of teens come to our library to ask for volunteer hours and never once thought of doing what you're doing. But do you find that some of the teens sort of stay on beyond their required hour amount, or do they kind of filter in and out so that you kind of always have or anticipating always having a new crop of teens?
We do give the returning teens first crack. So around August, we usually put out that we're looking, and they have to, we have an application where it's really just this is what is going to be expected of you. It is the entire school year you're committing to doing this with us. So it's something that goes home. They have to sign it. Their parent or guardian has to sign it. So any returning teens, we kind of are you guys get first dibs. And then if we only get so many that return, then we open it up to newer teens. And as far as doing more than expected, we did a food drive one year. And I know some kids went above and beyond. They came in to box stuff and did more than their usual hours. But we try to plan it so that from September to May, they get their 10 hours. Because that's all.
I know. And it can be so hard sort of managing that. I imagine y'all have other jobs, other things to do aside from this. So that's really interesting. So like you said, you take some of the activities or some of the service projects out into the community. Are you getting any feedback? Is anyone in the community kind of saying anything about this and how you're involving teens in almost community-led activities and sort of things like that? Is anyone saying anything? I hope so.
I've gotten some pretty positive feedback. I mean, whether it's from, the senior center that says, thank you so much for partnering with us. I know that Spooner House they are, in case people don't know, they are both a food pantry, but also a homeless shelter. And we did a big food drive last year around Thanksgiving. And they were so grateful with the help that we've given them. Even people that have come in to donate things. So even when we did our clothing drive, they said, wow, this is fantastic that you guys are doing this. And even the organizations that they are impressed with the fact that we kind of helped do this, but also I think that they're more impressed that the teens actually are the ones kind of conceiving these projects.
We do our best to give the teens like FaceTime too. Like we just done the bake sale.
Yep.
With Valley Shakespeare. So they did
a Christmas
thank you.
They did a Christmas carol here at night. And what the Junior Friends did was have a little bake sale in conjunction with the Valley Shakespeare doing their performance. And it was great to give them the recognition they deserve. And they actually were able to make a little money too. And two things that I think is so important that they're saying is that it's a great mentoring opportunity for them with the younger people. And since they are both of a certain demographic too, I think the kids respond to them as younger people, as younger adults. As the older statesman of the group, I can say that they really do respond to them being younger. And I think that it's important that they do work for the community too, because they need to see that not everybody has 3 square meals a day and cable TV, and that people are living difficult lives sometimes. And the other thing is that I think that they do really well is that they balance fun activities. If they have the kids in working on a project, they order pizza for the kids too. So it's not just always work, it's also a balance of the work. And then they're kids. You want to have them really enjoy the library and have a good time while they're here.
Yeah. Can I come volunteer? I'm
Yes,
so lonely.
please do.
I miss that. That's really amazing. And I think I don't know if you're intentionally doing, if you realize what you're doing, but I mean, this is co-design, community co-design with your teens. This is connected learning. This is getting out of the building. This is everything that I know, like we shout here from the service center, and y'all have just been doing it in Shelton and not telling anybody. So no more of that. Okay. Share the wealth and share the knowledge, because this is awesome and people need to know. I needed to know.
Oh yes.
So how about people inside of the library? Is your sort of, I don't know what your teen programming and just sort of the activities and things that are not a part of this Junior Friends program, which is a really adorable name, by the way, but has the dynamic within the library sort of changed at all, either in teen or even just sort of the way that the adults, sometimes adults sort of view teens as like this terrifying group of in-between humans who aren't quite the adorable little kids and aren't quite the responsible adults. But I'm wondering, has the dynamics of the library changed at all?
I mean, like, I think that some of the other colleagues of mine, I think, like the fact that other teams are starting to come in a little bit, especially with the renovations here. I know between that and COVID, things were kind of hard for at least to get some sort of programming off the ground with the start and stop of things. But I think that everybody's been responding pretty positively overall.
I did over the summer too with some of the ones that I knew were going to be returning. I offered an outdoor kiddie carnival to my littlest because I do youth, so I got everybody. And I had little games that we could play and prizes, whatnot. I couldn't do it all on my own. So I called, hey, I'm doing this. If you have an hour on this day during the summer to come in and help. So I did have patrons with very, very little children getting the benefit of having these teens come in to help with stuff. And they were incredible with the little kids. They were so good. So, they are seeing, that, teens, they're still kids. They want to be helpful. They want, to interact with other people. They're not always, I'm too cool for this. So.
Yeah. And one other thing that I did want to add as well to that. So I do work with the children's librarians here at Plumb. Terry, and planning some programming that we're also going to be doing with to work with the teens, so that the teens can work with the kids here to do some things upcoming too. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yay! I have a really quick thought about the logistics of this. You were saying that, like if, a program is coming up and it's like, I'm going to need an extra set of hands. How are you communicating with the teens? I think having sort of that application is really great. And if we're allowed to see that, I imagine people who hear this and maybe want to try something could probably gain some value from just sort of what that looks like, what kinds of questions you ask, but also how are you communicating with these guys? Is it via email? I barely answer my email. What do you do?
Email.
Really?
Yeah.
Emails come back?
Yeah, shockingly, yes.
Okay. I turn my notifications off. Like I need to be ready to go in there. I can't have my phone buzzing at me like that.
It's great too, because I think that it's also, you know, we'll be like, this is what's coming up next, and this is what we did last time. So we will give them like, here's what we did, here's what's coming next. Please let us know if you can't. So it's also getting that kind of experience with like writing a semi-professional email. Like we expect communication in a certain way, and you know,
And accountability.
yeah, that's yes.
Yeah.
And I think too that like with the parents also wanting to be involved, I know that we've had some parents have asked us like, could you send like an email roundup of the meeting when it's over? So I think that Jessica and I have gotten into a habit of doing that. So we'll send out an email to the group that says, okay, so this is what was discussed. This is what we're going to be doing. And just kind of providing notes so people can kind of go back and refer to it.
Meeting minutes. If we want to lump it into
kind of, yeah. It's very, very informally, yes, but just little bullet points of things that just says, okay, this is what we were discussing, this is what we voted on, this is what we're doing next month, and then of course,
you know, you all decided this. Our next steps are
right.
This, then we'll be in touch once we have everything nailed in. So.
Oh, okay. And now if someone watches this and they're like, I want to try, like, I want to see, you know, if this is going to work for my community. Do you have any sort of thoughts or suggestions? Like if someone is starting from scratch, right? So many libraries are in the state of like, I started during COVID and don't know my teens, or like, you know, there are a lot of folks since the pandemic are almost starting from scratch, you know, in sort of a weird way, particularly with teens, because like, it's a weirdly short window, right, between sort of when they're here and then when they're off in college or in the job market or whatever. So do you have any thoughts or any sort of suggestions for someone who wants to get started and see how this works in their community?
Well, first and foremost, I think is to build a really strong relationship with the school, especially with the media specialists, number one. Also send flyers to them, talk to them, and to say, you know, if you have a lot of teens that do come in and use the school library, you know, here's a flyer that says, hey, you know, the public library is going to do a junior friends group and it's volunteer and you can do some games and have some fun, but also do good in the community. I think that is kind of one really big step towards that. But also too, I mean, you know, social media as well. I mean, things like, you know, if they have a Facebook page, if they want to create one specifically for teens, then, you know, have that and just, you know, have at it. Instagram. I mean, but I think first and foremost, the schools would be the first place to go.
I started October 2019, so I was kind of in that stage where this was brand new for me after everything happened. So having good support. If you have a colleague that can take this on with you, that's something that is really important. And don't be afraid to try things. I mean, this is our second year, so the bake sale that we did, they wanted to do that so badly last year, and we just couldn't figure it out. So, you know, hanging on to ideas or trying things like last year we carved pumpkins and that was okay, but after a few days, they're not really meant to be indoors. And we had people saying, hey, can you come and get your pumpkin? He's looking a little. So this year we painted, like, you know, it's sometimes trial and error. So, you know, hang on to ideas, think about how you can make them work going forward. You know, don't be afraid to give it your best and tweak as you go.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. That was this really, I'm sitting here this entire time like, man, like, why did I never think to do this? So I thank you for giving me this idea that though I can't use it anymore, it's just nice to have this in the mind, and for sharing with the people who watch this. Like we have like 600 views on all these CT Pages videos. So people are watching and they are learning and they are probably emulating. So thank you for sharing with us. And, you know, maybe we'll have to check in another couple of years to see how the program has grown and changed, because I want to know. And I might have to visit Shelton one day and just kind of like have some fun. I want to paint a pumpkin. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Information, please have them just contact me,
Definitely.
jstokes@biblio.org. One thing too that I'm thinking of as they're speaking that Joe has mentioned to me is that it's great to see kids get together from high school, from homeschooling situations, from other schools. And they're kids who don't normally acknowledge each other when they're in school. We have some freshmen, we have some seniors, we have some sports kids, we have some band kids. They're starting to interact when they go back to school now and say, did you say hi to me? You know, I saw you today in the hall. They're forming friendships that never would have happened if they weren't in the junior friends together. Just because they're hanging out with their own little groups.
That's definitely one of the benefits I think is often overlooked with regards to youth services in public libraries, especially if you're in a town. The town I live in has 6 elementary schools. Like those kids would not cross paths with each other anywhere other than Stop and Shop, you know, were it not for library programs and for 8th graders to be able to interact with 10th graders to then sort of have a buddy when they start high school. I think that's some of the hidden secret gems of public librarianship in particular that aren't often acknowledged. So, oh, this is great. We'll make sure to add your contact information in your library name to, you know, sort of the chat of the video and in our advertisement. If someone doesn't contact you about this, just call me and I will show up interested, because I really love and sort of miss that type of interaction that y'all are talking about. And it's really great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to turn you back to them now so they can think about it.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you guys.